So what I do is I take the recipe from In Search of the Ninja, the energy food pills, write down the recipe, get all the measurements, take all the measurements, and transfer them into my modern day time and area measurements using the tables in the back of the book of Secret Traditions of the Shinobi. Weight and capacity. We need about 7.5 cups of rice. And yes, this is exactly the amount. This is half and half of the same thing that it says to use: glutinous rice and regular rice. So this right here is a perfect half and half mixture of that already. So here, I gotta make sure I get it all the way to the top. Alright, so there's 4 cups right there. Alright, now I'm going to get the rest of the 7.5 more accurately without the camera. And there we have our rice. So as you can see, it is mostly rice as compared to, like, you know, potato and stuff like that. So you guys can see all the ingredients together. This is the sweet potato, but you know what? Now the last ingredient I have to measure is cinnamon. It says, or my measurement conversion came out to 37.5 grams of cinnamon. Okay. Yep. Back to grams. All the way to about right there. Alright, that's a lot of cinnamon. Alright, take the cinnamon challenge, right? Alright, so there it is. Or here. This is everything that the measurements came to be, okay? That you had to have been using real, like, wet, actual fresh ginseng. These little tablets probably are not what was used or is what was desired. I am though, because I'm going to go with dry ginseng, because what I'm taking this on as is I want these to be ready to go, you know, on the field. So yam, you can go get dried yam. You can powdered yam. Someone was mentioning it on the team page as well. Luke Crocker, man, good stuff, dude. And also, because he used the powdered yams. What's this much ginseng going to do? So I'm going to up the ante on the ginseng, and I'm going to add a few more tablets than it says to do for this recipe. The whole scene so far. I'm about to start grinding everything into the grinder and preparing it to mix, and then we'll steam it. See it? Turning the powder? Pretty good. My machine broke, literally fell apart, and burnt up. The motor burnt up, and it fell apart as I lifted it up and everything. Piece of crap. So, on hold till then. I burnt up the coffee, that tiny cheap little coffee grinder, and so now we're going to go with something a bit more powerful. This giant metal Vitamix blender. This is going to do the job. So, burnt up the coffee grinder doing this. We have our rice flour ready. Now we still need to turn the dog's tears and the lotus seeds into flour, and that's next. So alright. It's pretty good. Still a little chunky, but we got some flour. I'll sift it out. Here's the consistency of the lotus seed flour so far. It's not too, it's kind of a weird smell to it, by the way, everyone. Very, very weird aroma. Never really smelled it. Like a very, very pungent peanut or something. That's the only way I can describe it, is pungent peanut. But yeah. There we go. Again, we're going to finish that off, and that's all you're going to see of that. Alright. Lotus seed flour prepared and ready. Set it right next to the rice flour. Now, Job's Tears, or Quicks seeds. Alright. Every last little one. I'm working on that field ration again. $37.5 grams cinnamon. $35. Okay, good enough. There's our cinnamon. Now we need the exact same amount of lotus seed flour, or lotus seeds. So we want 37, and 37. I'm going to round it up to 40. There it is. Exactly the same amount as the other ingredients. There it is. So cinnamon, lotus seed, Job's Tears, or Quick seed. Okay. Now let's do the big part, the rice flour. It's pretty much the majority of this entire recipe is nothing but rice. You have like this much rice compared to all that. As you can see the comparison. There's a lot more rice flour compared to all the rest of the ingredients. So I have my rice pretty much. This is pretty much. I'm pretty much going to use all this, so it's already measured. But it's about 2 of these. So close to 8 cups. I went with 7 cups to, you know. So hopefully this would stand out in flavor or something. But nonetheless, it's just for nutritional supplement. Next is the yam, or potato. Okay, I have the potato cooking first. I'm cooking it before I mash it up and add it to the mixture. So while that's cooking, 1.5 kin, which is 30, it breaks down to like 32 ounces, but I'm rounding it down to 30 ounces. I don't need that much sugar. So let's make sure that this is 30 ounces. It is, I already did, but yeah, there it is. So potato cooks, we'll mix this up, knead it with some water, steam it, we'll see how this all turns out. Alright, the potato has finished, or the yam has finished cooking. I dried it out a little bit, sorry, but nonetheless, here we are. Let's weigh it out. That's about right, just right there. Let's add a little bit more. There's the potato measured out. I again rounded it up to 40 ounces, but there it is. Just a little bit of potato. That's it, guys. That's the measurement. Remember, this would even be this much sugar. I'm doing half the amount of sugar it says to, you know, depending upon my assumptions on crystallized black sugar, etc. There's the ratio of rice, cinnamon, this. The only thing that doesn't make sense to me again is, you know, we have a large amount of all these other ingredients, and then it says to only add 2 grams of ginseng. Which is that? That's it. I'm definitely going to add a little bit more ginseng than they say to put, because otherwise just these two little tablets of powder, it's just going to get lost in there. It's not going to do anything to my mixture to have this much in there. I definitely have to add a little bit more. I'm thinking, like, you know, just at least a decent handful like this or something, you know, at least a decent handful like this to make a difference and actually be noticeable and have some kind of nutritional effect within all these ingredients. You need at least this much. At least a handful, guys. I am making small adjustments here, but, you know, it's in common sense, you know. This is how much sugar it says to add. This is the full, like, 30 ounces. But, I mean, honestly, everyone, look at... If that's supposed to be the mixture of the whole recipe, that ratio to that, there's more sugar than rice. I mean, that doesn't make any sense whatsoever. So I'm going to go with just that amount of sugar, just that much. That makes sense compared to this. But I don't know about all that. That's a lot of sugar, guys. That's no way. That's a toothache and a half. Let alone that's going to destroy all the properties to everything else it's mixed with. So only brown sugar. And not only that, the sugar. If the sugar is, it's definitely not plain white sugar. Brown sugar weighs a lot more than, or not a lot more, but a little more weight to it than regular bleached white sugar, white grain sugar. Now then again, there's black sugar, and now black sugar even has more weight. It weighs heavier than normal brown sugar. So I can imagine that black sugar, or crystallized sugar, it says to use crystallized sugar, right? Which is a black sugar. And that weighs about, it would break down to be about this much. So, there you go. That's why I'm only going to use that much, and I've kind of figured that part of it out, you know, as compared to just going ahead and doing, you know, for face value and using the whole amount there, which is completely whack. I've done some research and I came to that conclusion. Alright, now it's official. These are all the ingredients measured out to the proper proportions. Ginseng, sugar, quick seed, potato, cinnamon, lotus seed, rice. 2 different kinds of rice. The glutinous rice, regular rice. Bam. Now, let's grab the mixing bowl. Let's begin to mix all this together. Okay. First the rice. And sugar. Okay. Potato. I mushed it up as best as I can. Cinnamon. Quick seed or job's tears. The lotus flower. I never thought I'd be eating lotus flower seeds. Like, what the heck? Alright. And then ginseng. I have some powdered ginseng. Notice everything I'm using is pretty much in powdered form except for the potato. You can even get potato in powdered form now, and you'd have a completely ready to go dry mix recipe that you can take out in the field, make out in the field. That's the beauty of this recipe that I really, really like. Add water and mix all this together. Knead it together. So I'm going to slowly drizzle water and start kneading it, and you guys will tune in as I have that perfected. This is what it looks like so far. I've added, slowly added water, and I've gone through about, come on, up here, yeah, alright. I've gotten about 2 cups of water, so a little over 2 cups of water has turned this into this, has turned the dry mixture that you saw before into this. It's a nice, perfect consistency, not too wet or anything. And then the instructions only say to turn this into little centimeter wide balls, like so. So, and then you take It's very messy, as you can see. Yeah. And you take these and you put them in a basket steamer. Okay. Right? Okay. Here is the before image. This is what they look like. Get them in the sunshine for you guys. Alright. Water's boiling. Steam's going. Bam. Alright. Keep them steaming. I'm going to go get some covers. I got 2 different baskets. I'm going to have 2 different baskets going. Bam, bam. I'm going to be steaming this whole thing until I have them all done. And then, of course, we will try them. Yes. And I will tell you all about the end result and, yeah, all the rest of it. Just about done. Alright, here. So what is a finished product. See, you got a little bit of potato in there in the middle. And yeah. I gotta steam them a little bit longer, but that's my first batch. And they're very firm, they stay together. They really do stay like pills, you know. Alright, here we go. Let's do another batch. Strawberry food. Yum yummy. And then hot steam, hot steam. Hot steam, hot steam. One more. Alright. And then as that one starts, I take these off. Woo! Alright. I bust it open. I feel like it's very firm, not too mushy or anything like that. Is it soft inside? Did the moisture reach inside? That's a key factor. And yeah, I bust it open and I test it right away. So what I've done here is I have different batches. These 2 batches were done at about like 7 minutes. These I stepped it up to like just a little bit over 10. These were 15 minutes. And then these right here have been sitting for like a good 20 minutes. They've been steaming for 20 minutes. I'm just coming down to the very end of my recipe. I have like maybe 1 more ball to make. This is how many more I have to steam. So for reference for you all, I want to show that there's not too much of a difference between before and after. Before, it breaks apart like this. See, this will just fall apart. It's still wet. Whereas when you steam them, it binds it all together, and they're bouncy balls. They literally have a bounce to them because of all the glutinous rice. But nonetheless, they stay together, and they're very, very solid. They are in pill form. I see why they call them hunger pills. But nonetheless, there it is. I kind of want to give you a close-up of one of these breaking apart. I want to break one apart to show you guys the texture of it. The camera catches it. You can see the pieces of potato. And now if this was a very, very fine flour for every ingredient, because mind you, you could see there's tiny little bits of tiny bits and pieces of the Job's tears and lotus flower seed, so it's kind of a nutty texture. It has like a soft, chewy granola bar, Ottawalla bar texture to it, if you will, when you eat it. They're very, well, not very sweet, but they have a very sweet taste to them because of all the sugar. And the yam itself is kind of like a sweet potato, so it has, whenever you hit the potato, it's like a nice little sweet portion of when you eat them. It's like a little nice taste surprise whenever you run into the potato. There's a piece of potato right there. So if you guys can just see that, because obviously you guys can't taste it through the camera, but if you guys can see the texture, you get an idea of what to expect when you make something like this. I noticed that no matter what, even if you leave them for a good 20 minutes, which I'm about to take that one batch off, it never soaks up too much moisture, you know. So when you steam them, these soak up the moisture, it binds them all together and finishes it off to where it's an easily, because if you ate these just like this, everything's really hard. You can't really chew up all the tiny little grains of ground up nuts and stuff like that. Whereas when you steam them, it softens everything up, binds it together, softens it up, and it makes it palatable, if you will. You know, edible, so that you can actually chew it up easily, digest it easily without it soaking up a bunch of water if you drink water, etc. So I do see the properties and reasons behind making it like the recipe says to make it. The reasons behind it, you know, they did think it out as of nutrition, digestion, and stuff like that. Here they are, completely finished. The energy food pill, right? I have a nice, this is the, I didn't count them, but it made a good batch. It made quite a bit. This, I imagine this would last me literally a month. It's gonna. I have to share these with Paul. You were supposed to be here to help make these and eat them. Anyways,
shame on you, Paul.
Here it is. Oh, keep it straight. So, here it is. This is like the cook show moment right here.
Mmm.
A little dry, just a little bit, but they're moist enough to chew and stuff like that. They're pretty good. They're sweet. You definitely want something to drink with them because they're a little dry. You want some water or something. It's like eating a granola bar, a really dry, plain, just barely sweetened granola bar or Ottawa bar. But they are, like, I could feel it already. Like, I'm already getting a huge carbohydrate shot from this.
Mm-hmm.
So, and everything that's in them, they are balanced so that you have a good amount. I looked up nutrition benefits to, like, the lotus seeds and job steers and stuff like that. And sure enough, like, they do have all of it mixed together, adds up to be a nice little protein shot as well as a nice carbohydrate shot. So you're getting, who knows what vitamins and minerals from the seeds and nuts and rice.